Hello, Havenites. I'm pretty sure many of you can guess what the topic of this next video is. It's
Friendship relationships.
the year was 1995, Valentine's Day that year. I had made a special card for a girl in my class that I had liked. Upon giving her this card, and about an hour later, all hell had broken loose. The girl that I had liked, named Jill, had went from a sweet flower to a bitter lemon as she had screamed at me for my kind gesture to her on Valentine's Day, of all days then, in 1995. She just didn't love me, were her exact words.
What the fuck?
I was only trying to be friendly. This reaction from Jill at the time would soon, later in the summer of 2025, be the reaction from another girl that I had liked from my camp job, except that this time, instead of screaming at me for my kind gesture, this girl in the summer of 2025 would later block me on social media. More onto this later in this video. Stay tuned. After screaming at me and rejecting my Valentine's card to her, Jill would be seen as ostracizing me and basically looking away from me whenever we were close to each other, either in class or in the hallways at school on the way to something. All of this like some spoiled little rich girl brat who thought she was better than me or the rest of my class. This went on for the remainder of the school year. I can't believe that I ever liked someone like Jill who would end up treating me like this when we were both 7 and in the second grade. Unbelievable. This started out like a fine year. I was just starting my final year of elementary school. I couldn't wait to finally start middle school in junior high next year. At the end of the school day one day in September, I was away from my desk when I had noticed a mystery letter addressed to me laying there waiting for me to open it. Upon looking at it and finally opening it, I was left puzzled as to who would be writing to me without even telling me who they were first. All I know at the time from the letter was that there was an address listed on the return address of the letter. It was an apartment address. Don't ask me now the exact address because A, I don't have the letter anymore, and B, I can't remember the specific address now after all these years since like I said, I don't have the letter anymore. This too was before the invention of Google. where now I could have just punched in or asked Google Maps to tell me more about the mystery apartment address in the letter, and I probably would have gotten my answer that fast. Mystery solved. Shaboom. Shabam. Case dismissed. Yay. But no, I was left still puzzled the old-fashioned way. Thankfully, I wasn't in the mystery wagon too long, as a week later, my mystery was finally solved, as my secret admirers had finally revealed themselves. Yay! They turned out to be 4 girls in my 5th grade class that year, and their names were Callie, Julie, Stephanie, and Kristen. Callie, Julie, Stephanie, and Kristen being together had reminded me of that later 2004 made movie from Paramount Pictures titled Mean Girls, with Kelly being the Regina George Queen Bee type of character of the group, and me, since I was recruited anonymously as a part of the secret admirer scheme conducted by all 4, as the Katie Heron character of the movie, who was portrayed on screen in that movie by Lindsay Lohan. Since I was now a member of the Mean Girls equivalent group with Kelly, Julie, Stephanie, and Kristen, all 4 had invited me to sit with them at their table for lunch. I recall sitting at them at their table at lunch for about a month before things took a wrongful turn. One day at the beginning of October of 1997, I am about to put my tray of food down at their table to eat when that bossy bitch at the time named Kelly had spoken for the rest of her ignorant followers, like Regina George from Mean Girls, and publicly stated that I couldn't sit with them at their table anymore. I'm thinking, huh? What had crawled up their butt, specifically Kelly, to suddenly be the one to speak up for her little group for, and kick me out of it all of a sudden? That made no sense. Just like in 2nd grade, it made no sense for Jill at the time to suddenly think she was better than me by throwing my friendly Valentine's card back at me, by rejecting it, and then later ostracizing me whenever she would see me, like ignore me, like get away from me, ew, gross. Kelly was acting the same way. I don't get it. But that was not the end of it. Oh, no, 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 no. It seemed as if Kelly would go the rest of the mile and get an entire class to somehow turn against me too. For what? All these years later, I still have no clue. So my movie story comparison instantly became from a happy story with Mean Girls 1 month to a sad one in another, and almost a full school year later in another, as in the 1996 Nickelodeon Pictures movie that was titled Harriet the Spy, starring Michelle Trachtenberg as the Harriet Welsh character. In this situation with me and now the remainder of my 5th grade class that I had experienced, I was the Harriet Welsh character and had once again felt ostracized, this time with my entire class and not with one spoiled, rotten girl named Jill in school. How unfair. I should also point out that 5th grade with this encounter was my very first foray into the world of bullying, where I first began feeling bullied by 4 heartless bitches who never should have fucked with me as anonymous secret admirers of mine at the time to begin with. After dealing with all the bullying behavior that I could handle from those individuals, I finally cracked and was forced to tell a trusting adult about my problem at the time. So I had gone to my mom. All I seem to remember now was that my mom was there to listen to me and had gone to the principal later, who had reported my concern to my 5th grade teacher at the time, named Mrs. Emerson. Thank you, Mom. It was Mrs. Emerson at the time that I remember speaking with both of the main ringleaders of the group that were harassing me, named Kelly and Julie, out in the hallway before school about how they were treating me. Now, after this encounter, I was never bullied again in school by anyone, thank God. Kelly and Julie, as ringleaders, had finally apologized to me for treating me so badly, and now all is finally forgiven and forgotten between me and them. Thank you. But I still find it appalling today that Julie, as one of my bullies from this encounter then in 5th grade, currently works as a counselor within the FLACRA organization in my hometown, where I'm currently receiving mental health services for my struggles over the years. As far as outside of school and inside of my family with regards to me feeling bullied, that's another story for another video. Stay tuned. September 1998 was an interesting time for me. It had been a whole year since I was first introduced to being bullied. I was hoping not to feel the same way again as I entered a new grade in school in a new building in my hometown. At an assembly for new students, there was one boy my age at the time who had actually wanted to be my friend, and he wasn't willing to treat it as a mystery or ridicule me for wanting to be friends by giving me gifts and then denying my hard work, as had previously happened in elementary school to me in 2nd grade. Now, this friend wanted to do the opposite and just try and gain my trust because to him, he thought I had looked cool and he was only trying to be nice too. His name was Rob. At first, I was unwilling to want to trust Rob, since what had previously happened to me in 2nd grade with me and Jill, and then later in 5th grade with those secret admirer bitches at the time named Kelly and Julie. But Rob was looking to ignore all of that since he didn't even know anything about it. So I gave in to Rob. From that moment on, we were friends. I would talk about my friendship with Rob to anyone who would listen, citing that I finally had a friend from school who finally liked me. That's all I had wanted. Rob even went so far as to later become invited by me to my 12th birthday party. And he actually came too. I only wish that I had been photogenic like I currently am now, and I could have gotten a decent photo of us two together. Flash forward 26 years later, and at our 20th high school class reunion in July of 2025, I finally saw Rob again, and we finally got that group photo together that we should have gotten back when we were both 12. Also in junior high, there was a pretty girl at the time that I was interested in. Her name was Erica. We performed in plays together for our school's drama club every year that we were in junior high. But I didn't really start to notice her until our final year of junior high in the beginning of 2001, when we were a part of a production at the time titled Is There a Doctor in the House in February. Despite our characters in the play having this feud, behind the scenes everything was rosy between me and Erica. Our ages were perfect. And at that moment on, and like my character named Otis from that play, to Is There a Doctor in the House, I was heavily infatuated with Erica's character named Lucy, and Lucy didn't suddenly lose her voice upon my character's appearance and us about to be married at the time in the play then, as had suddenly happened for the suspense in the play that we were a part of from February of 2001. Erica was great. Like Rob, Erica had actually wanted to be my friend. As our 8th grade year in 2001 was nearing its end, and we were all preparing to graduate junior high school to move on to high school the next year, tragedy had befallen me. I was hospitalized at this time with appendicitis. Though the whole school later knew, it seemed like Erica was the most sympathetic. When I had came back from the hospital to attend our graduation ceremony, Erica had gone so far as to hug me right in front of her other friends at the time. That was when I knew that Erica had really cared. Flash forward now to the fall of 2002. Erica, Rob, and myself were all grouped together into one class. This happened to be my favorite class of all time in school, English Language Arts. All three of us finally being together in one class had reminded me of the three main characters from the Harry Potter world in Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and Hermione Granger. Flash forward to the spring and early summer of 2005. Erica, myself, Rob, and the remainder of our class were preparing to graduate high school. One memory between me and Erica here had happened on senior night at Darien Lake Amusement Park in May of 2005. Erica and her then boyfriend named Ryan, me and another member of our group from our graduating class at the time, were preparing to wait in line to ride the Boomerang roller coaster ride at Darien Lake. While waiting, I had witnessed Erica and Ryan sharing a very passionate peck across the lips kiss between themselves. Something that went along the lines of, let me demonstrate, like this. At that moment, I was suddenly thinking, relationship over. How could Erica do this to me? Someone who I had been infatuated with ever since the end of middle school and that play that we were both involved in together in February of 2001. I was hurt. It felt like someone took a hammer and literally pounded my heart down into a million gajillion pieces. Ouch! Flash forward now to August of 2005. I was planning a high school graduation party for myself with my family members. I was allowed to invite some acquaintances from school to this. I had this long list that I put together of who I wanted to invite. But did a majority of them bother to show up? Fuck no. One of the acquaintances from school that I did invite that said that they could not make it to my party at the time was in fact Erica. Why would I choose to want to invite her to a celebration with my family about me was anyone's guess but mine after I had seen her and her then boyfriend playing tonsil hockey with each other at Darien Lake months earlier. But I was just trying to be forgiving with Erica at the time, so we will just leave it at that for now. I'm sorry. Even though Erica had declined to come to my graduation party, she felt then the need to make it up to me by taking me out to ice cream days before. I will never forget this day. The day that Erica finally walked into my then home with me and my parents and older sister to meet at the time. Followed up immediately outside in my parents' backyard of a junkyard then, where my dad had witnessed Erica telling her then boyfriend named Ryan to get into the back seat of Erica's car. That I ride up front with Erica. Witnessing that not only brought a smile and a tear to my eye, but I could tell nearly the same reaction inside of my dad, who was watching closely nearby. From that moment on, my dad had wanted Erica and I to one day end up together so that he could possibly have a new daughter-in-law in the family after witnessing what he had seen in Erica's car at the time. After bringing me back home from our ice cream social date was the final time to date where Erica and I got so close to intimacy and finally doing something together as the friends we were supposed to be. After our ice cream date, we finally went our separate ways. She to begin college at FLCC for nursing, while I was preparing to enter pre-college at a local trade school so that I could later enter college myself at FLCC too, once I had finally shed my disabled skin label from that dreaded IEP diploma that I had earned in June 2005 by passing the GED exam later on. Looking back now, I miss Erica. Up to that point, she was considered to be the best girlfriend that I had met so far in my life, who was willing to do almost anything to try and help me out when I had wanted the help. It's just a real shame now that she's currently married with children of her own now. If I didn't want to go to college myself, then that family that she currently has now with her current husband just might have been mine instead. If one can dream. Summer 2009. I was preparing to return to work that summer in July. I was working then at Keuka College in their experiential learning office. It was here that I had met another infatuation that I had liked. Her name then was Molly. On the surface, Molly and I are currently 3 years apart in age, with me being the oldest by 3 years. But I didn't care. From the moment I first saw Molly, I instantly had liked her. It was kind of like the spark that blew between me and Erica in 2001 when we were in that play together. With meeting Molly and working a summer at Keuka College, I knew that I was having one of my best summers ever. So much so that when my job experience with Keuka College was over that summer, and the end of that summer in 2009 it came, and I was preparing to return for my final semester working on my associate's degree in college at FLCC at the time, I had made up my mind that I had wanted to transfer from FLCC to Keuka College then eventually someday. Fall 2009. I am finally all set with moving into my residence hall apartment at College Suites at FLCC. Beep, 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 went the fire alarm as we were all ushered outside to the parking lot away from the building. While outside, I had met another girl that I was kind of admiring. Her name was Kaylee. Kaylee and I are currently 4 years apart in age, with me being the oldest by 4 years. But like Molly, age is just a number, and I didn't care. It had felt awesome to be living at College Suites nearby someone that I had kind of liked and that I had felt that I had something in common with. And Kaylee and I, we kind of share this experience where we kind of are infatuated with the fantasy type elements. I like Harry Potter while she likes Lord of the Rings, and Kaylee has this tattoo on her back, this giant ring that I'm guessing is from Lord of the Rings, and that I had one. Well, I'll get to that story in just a minute. Stay tuned. Kaylee and I had one class that semester together, which was titled Intro to Psychology, despite us living within the College Suites residence hall dorm room environment together. A fun fact was that every time that our instructor would order group work in class, Kaylee would instantly turn around and offer to be my partner for the work because we knew each other from the College Suites. And getting back to that story about that giant ring that I had a view of in class on her back, that's the ring I was talking about, that I just couldn't focus. I was so focused on Kaylee's back because of that ring from the Lord of the Rings. Remember I said that she was infatuated with Lord of the Rings, and she had that ring was part of her infatuation with Lord of the Rings. One Monday evening in late October of 2009, I was already in my pajamas at the time watching one of my favorite TV programs on TV, which was WWE Raw, when there was a loud knock on my private bedroom door in my room at the College Suites. This was Kaylee and her roommates at the time, and they were inviting me to a dance party held in their apartment suite. I was stunned to be invited to this event by them, but to receive the invite so late in the evening, and while I was currently in my pajamas, at the time trying to calm down from my roommate drama also occurring in my apartment at that time that semester, and trying to relax by watching my favorite program on TV, wrestling. It was comical, but I obliged nonetheless, thinking that it might be cool to hang out with others instead of solo in my own room at the time. The dance party in my pajamas that I had gone to with Kaylee and her roommates at the time was not the only time that I had been invited to Kaylee's apartment suite with her and her roommates. In fact, and towards the end of the semester, I was invited back this time to Kaylee's apartment suite at the College Suites to help her and her roommates with baking Christmas cookies. I still laugh out loud today, looking back at this today, because of how the party had went from calmly baking Christmas cookies one time to a playful brawl where we had all ended up with getting dirty with flour on our faces. I had ended up with large gobs of flour in my hair, and after coming back to my own apartment suite at the time in my room, then after I had rinsed out by taking a warm, refreshing shower then. Times like these were some of my more happier moments with others from my time as a college student overall. After being invited to Kaylee's apartment suite with her and her roommates then, I had told Kaylee and the one who was with her at the time when I was talking with her, her name was Megan, that I was planning on returning the favor to them for being friendly to me the last couple of months by giving them something special to remember me by for Christmas that year. Now, I say this because at the time, a month prior, on Saturday, November 14th in 2009, I had officially gotten my acceptance letter after applying to Kewa College, so that I could transfer to Kewa College for a fall 2010 admission. I was excited. Flash forward to the fall of 2010. I was finally arriving to Kewa College as an official student there. Here, I was also reunited at last with the other girl that I had met in the summer of 2009, named Molly. As my first and only full year spent at Kewa College had seemed to progress, I was starting to miss my old life at FLCC. More onto this in a possible future video later. Stay tuned. For now, I will just say that there are differences that I found out between a 2-year school and a 4-year school. Flash forward now to the fall of 2013. I am finally arriving back to college again after taking some lengthy time off. I'm returning not to Kewa College, but instead this time back to FLCC again. Upon returning, and while I was away trying to better myself, I had been keeping up with my then 2 best friends from FLCC and Kewa College, named Kaylee and Molly. I was trying to plan a welcome back to school get-together between the 3 of us to celebrate me finally returning back to school again. Could I get this event on one day between the 3 of us together? Fuck no. Instead, I had to compromise by meeting with Molly at the beginning of the semester in September, while meeting with Kaylee at the end of the semester in December. So much for a group photo idea I had of my 2 college crushes from both of my colleges joined together with me in one group photo idea. I was frustrated. Flash forward now to the summer of 2014. I am preparing with my family a graduation party celebrating my 7 years spent in college overall. Kaylee and Molly were 2 of the top members on the invite list that I had, actually wanted to be there. Could they make it? And did they make it? Fuck no. Kaylee had actually told me weeks ago that she was planning on attending my party. But close to 2 days before my party had even began, she had said that her grandma had surprised both her and her cousin at the time with a trip to Old Forge, New York, and that she would not be attending my college graduation party at all after all. With Molly, on the other hand, at least she had compromised with me by agreeing to come watch me perform in my last live play to date that I had performed in, with the All Shook Up play that I was a part of that summer then in 2014. Why couldn't I have friends from school cheering me on in front of my family so that I didn't have to go through a teasing match that was hurtful between me and a jealous family member after? More onto this in a future video later. Stay tuned. One year later, in 2015, and I was still fuming with Kaylee for bailing on me for my college graduation party, and not even bothering to make it up to me somehow, like Molly did kindly. The only way that I could communicate this to Kaylee at the time was through social media on Facebook. After venting my frustrations with Kaylee, I had next found myself blocked and removed from our online friend list on Facebook then. To this day, I have not spoken to Kaylee ever since. I miss Kaylee. Things did not have to go so drastic between us like it did back then in 2015, with her suddenly removing me from all contact with her by blocking me on social media. All I had wanted was a lifetime friend. The same thing that I had wanted with all of the women that I am suddenly infatuated with. I'm sorry. It is now 2016, 1 year later since the sudden fiasco with me and Kaylee that did not have to be so. It was my birthday that year, and I was planning a dinner party with my parents and a few of my coworkers from my job then of working in the kitchen area at Keiko College at the time. For the first time since the spring of 2011, when we were Keiko College students at the time, Molly and I were close in proximity to each other again at Keiko College. I was inviting her for at least 5 minutes of her time to come by and meet my parents and these other coworkers that I had met from my new job at Keiko College in the kitchen area. But could Molly make it? And did she? Fuck no. Her excuse was, sorry, I have to work, even though she was only about 3 minutes from where my little party was in the dining hall location at the college at the time. She could have made it, but no, the almighty dollar had won, and I was so upset. Oh, damn it. So upset that, like with what happened between me and Kaylee 1 year prior, in 2015, I next found myself unfortunately blocked from contact and one friend short on my Facebook friend list with Molly this time. And like I said, I lost a college friend as a result. So much for FLCC and Keiko College. Looking back now, I miss Molly. Like with Kaylee, things did not have to get so drastic between us, like it did back then in 2016, when I was unfortunately blocked and I lost a Facebook friend at the time. All I had wanted was a lifetime friend again. The same thing that I had wanted with all of the women that I'm suddenly infatuated with. I'm sorry. In the summer of 2016, I thought I had finally found a friend that I really liked. This friend I was only interested in at the time because she had looked like a celebrity crush of mine at the time from TV. Her name was Rowan Blanchard of the TV show titled Girl Meets World fame. Girl Meets World is a sequel spin-off to the hit 1990s TV show at the time titled Boy Meets World from the Disney Channel, about a boy's guide through adolescence and featuring teen heartthrobs at the time in Ben Savage and Danielle Fishel as the characters named Corey and Topanga. Girl Meets World was the show that was also produced at the time by Disney beginning in 2014, which showcased Corey and Topanga finally being together as husband and wife and raising their children, who had included Rowan Blanchard's character named Riley. After the summer of 2016 and my third summer at Rotary Camp Onsiawa at the time, I was then infatuated with this girl who had looked like Rowan Blanchard from Girl Meets World, who was working with me at the time, and her name was Carly. After finally meeting and talking with Carly, I had discovered that life was not at all what it was cracked up to be with regards to Carly. The truth be told was that I found out that Carly was a sex fiend, and nearly every text conversation that we had shared together from beginning in the fall of 2016 to the early summer of 2017, all Carly had seemed to want to talk about with me was sex, sex. There's a song out there that reminds me of my text friendship with Carly. Ever since I first met her and we first started talking back in the summer, late summer of 2016. It's a hip hop and rap song by Salt and Pepper titled "Let's Talk About Sex." And like I said, it reminds me of Carly's text relationship with me, where every time that we would chat, she would talk about sex, sex, and I would kind of laugh. But I'm going to play a short clip of it here for you. And it can count as our little dance break in between this video here. Here goes.
Herb. Yo, I don't think we should talk about this. Come on, why not? People might misunderstand what we're trying to say, you know? That's a part of life. Come on, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things. Talk about things that make me. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex for now. To the people at home or in the crowd, it keeps coming up anyhow. Don't decoy, avoid, or make void the topic, cause that ain't gonna stop it. Now, talk about sex on the radio and video shows. Many will know anything goes. Let's tell it like it is and how it could be. How it was and of course how it should be. Those who think it's dirty have a choice. Pick up the needle, press pause, or turn the radio off. Will that stop us then? I doubt it. Alright then, come on, spin. Let's talk about sex.
I think you get the idea. It's a hit song, and I hope you enjoyed that little mini dance break. Thank you. The following text message exchange from Carly to me from April 4th, 2017 still makes me laugh out loud today. Oh, man. I wasn't ready for a committed relationship of boyfriend and girlfriend with someone like Carly just yet. In fact, and like all of my previous interactions and infatuations with girls that I had liked over the years, one thing still stays the same. Let's just be friends first. But with Carly constantly texting me over and over and over again about the idea of sex and wanting to sleep naked with me and having my penis slowly enter her vagina area, that was getting into a gross and mature form of conversation. Something that I don't even feel comfortable discussing in this video or on this channel with any of you guys. Now, for those who are watching, I sincerely apologize. Sorry. I'm sorry. Bottom line, I still like Carly. It's just her perverse sex talk with me at the time went completely over the line, given that I was only infatuated with her from camp because she had resembled a famous actress that I had liked from one of my favorite Disney TV shows at the time. Flash forward to the summer of 2017, my fourth summer overall at Rotary Camp on Siawa. After meeting Carly, I had next met another girl that I had liked at the time. Her name was Annie. At the time, Annie was helping out with the other nurses at camp. Unlike Carly, Talking with Annie online outside of camp was a breeze. In fact, I had actually enjoyed, and still do to this day currently, talking with Annie whenever I can. Like Carly, Annie also had a flaw that I had first noticed in the summer of 2019. During that summer in 2019, I had decided to offer my congratulations to Annie for achieving 3 years at Rotary Camp Onsiawa on staff, like I had done back in the summer of 2016, by offering to hug her. Before I could come in close to finally complete a full hug for her, Annie had suddenly turned away from me in a selfish, stuck-up kind of way that had reminded me of Jill from second grade years ago had acted. Why she would choose to act like this to me is anyone's guess but mine. But in my family, we hug in order to make each other feel good and special. I thought that I could get the same reaction from Annie, but no. In fact, one of my favorite WWE pro wrestlers had once a former gimmick where she was portrayed on TV as a hugger. This was Bayley, and I miss this character from her on TV. So Annie refusing a tender hug from me for making it 3 years at camp, like I had done in the summer of 2016, seemed to be hurtful to me. I mean, I was only trying to be friendly and polite when I offered my congratulations to her. Again, something that I try to be again with all the girls that I choose to be friendly with. A memory from camp that I remember so far with Annie from now years past had happened during the summer of 2018. It was during this time when camp was held at its former home on location at a Boy Scout camp that I decided to try bringing my own tent to sleep in. The funny part was, one morning I remember suddenly getting stuck inside of my tent as my zipper became stuck, thus trapping me inside when I really had to go to the bathroom before beginning my day with the kids and other staff. So I looked down at my phone and I had called the first one that I could think of to try and help get me out. How this relates with Annie is that same summer, Annie was having some trouble cutting cake for the kids and staff in her unit at camp then. At the end of that summer in 2018, Annie and I had won embarrassment paper plate staff awards then. While she had won for her story of her trouble cutting cake for members of her unit, I had won the 911 award for me suddenly becoming stuck in my own tent that I had brought and then having to call for help using my phone to get out. Story of my life. Oh, man. To this day now, Annie is one of the friends from camp that I still talk with on occasion, that I still enjoy talking with when I can. It is a shame that she now has a current boyfriend and that they are about to soon become married as of the production of this current video. Flash forward to the summer of 2022. It is not only my 8th summer at Rotary Camp Onsiala, but also the final summer for Camp Onsiala at the Boy Scout camp that they have been coming to since they had first opened many, many years ago. It was this summer then that I had met another girl at camp that I was suddenly fancying. Her name was Mimi, and I was infatuated with her since she had resembled in appearance then to a favorite WWE pro wrestler that I had enjoyed watching and still do to this day on TV. This was Rhea Ripley. Like Annie, and to this day, Mimi is also one of the friends from camp that I still talk with on occasion, that I just still enjoy talking with when I can. Mimi and I seem to be currently at the correct age to where if we chose to go the extra mile, past being friends to something else one day, that I might love to one day start a family of my own with her someday, if she prefers. It's a real shame that when I had first asked her about this in the summer of 2022, when we had first met while at camp, and when I had directly asked her after camp was over, that she had told me then at the time that she was then currently seeing someone else. A fact still to this day, which I have not seen proof of myself on social media, where we are both currently friends at the time, nor anywhere else. For now, and like Annie, I am perfectly happy and fine just currently being friends only from camp with Mimi. It was the summer of 2023, the first summer of Rotary Camp Onsiala finally moving into its new home at Camp Whitman, right within my backyard area in my hometown area. It was also within this summer in 2023 that I had met another girl that I had kind of fancied. Her name was Hannah, and I had felt as if we had something in common. Not only did our first names begin with the letter H, but we also had siblings with disabilities, in addition to our own disabilities. I could go on forever here describing more of what Hannah and I apparently had in common. However, this video here would probably be passed over maybe an hour by now. Hannah was aiming to be the one that I was looking for all along, and a friend to count on and talk with, similar to Erica from junior high and high school. At the end of the following summer in 2024, and one of the rare times that Hannah would end up talking with me, I recall her saying to me at the time that her baby brothers had loved having me around when I was helping them their first summer at the camp and as campers in the youngest boys unit that we were a part of as their camp counselor at the time. Hannah had further stated then that I was one of the nicest and the most polite guys that she would ever meet. Further, she was open to hanging out with me one day outside of camp. I had kept up with her about this, as for my birthday the next year in 2025, I was trying to arrange an ice cream social event between Hannah and I for my birthday that year. Would this supposed event even still happen? Fuck no. When I had tried contacting Hannah again, it became like I were suddenly talking to a wall. Weird. What the fuck happened to the sweet girl who had once said that I was one of the friendliest guys that she would ever meet? I thought that Hannah was starting to like me as a friend, like I liked her, even then when she had said that at the end of the summer in 2024. Some friend she was. She was never a friend to me. She was only just using me. Similar to how I had felt in second grade when I had once been infatuated at the time then by Jill. Petui. From that moment on, and if I had wanted to talk with Hannah, I began using her mom as a talking stick between us. That worked for a short while in early 2025, as there was a time I wanted to talk with Hannah then, and she wasn't answering. So I had texted her mom on Facebook Messenger at the time, and she had answered for Hannah to message me back when which she later did, of course. But I think that I had pissed off Hannah's mama off at the time then, that I was involving her in a communication with her daughter at the time, since her mom was on some precious trip away from her family then in Las Vegas on some vacation that she was planning at the time, and didn't want to be disturbed. Oh, boo-hoo, wah, wah, wah. Cry me a river, geesh. Oh, man. Flash forward to the late summer of 2025. I had still liked Hannah as a friend and was only trying to act friendly to her when I had sent the following to her via Facebook Messenger online. After seeing the birthday card that I had politely left on her Facebook timeline for all of her friends to see on her birthday then, on August 25th, Hannah had politely left me a heart emoji to it that she had loved my card to her. After this, Hannah had finally managed to read my private message that I had left to her privately via Facebook Messenger on August 22nd at the conclusion of camp in the summer of 2025. I kind of wish she would have responded to it, but what happened next was shocking to me. I had found out the next morning upon waking up, this was August 28th in 2025, by the way, that I was one friend short on my Facebook friend count online. It didn't take me long to figure out that Hannah was now no longer one of my online Facebook friends, so I had wasted no time in privately sending the following out to Hannah's mom as a way of trying to get through to Hannah. After Hannah's mom's explanation to me, I had replied this back to the cocky bitch that is Hannah's stupid mom. Like every other girl that I suddenly had an interest in, I really liked Hannah too, and had wanted to still be friends with her today. I was really not expecting to be suddenly blocked by her on social media for being too friendly of all things. Who the fuck does that? After Hannah had blocked me, I realized something then about Hannah. Hannah, like Carly, is a crazy lunatic user who should never have been my friend at all. Period. I was nice to both of those fine ladies, and that was how I was treated by them? By being lectured about sex constantly every time we chatted, in the case of Carly, and blocked for being nice in the case of Hannah? Unbelievable. Being blocked by Hannah was even worse than Jill trying to publicly ignore me when we were seen together as second graders years ago. For Christmas in 2025, I was suddenly feeling bad about Hannah, so I decided to send her a kind Christmas card to her via the regular postal mail service, since she had given me her mailing address last year in 2024 to send her a Christmas card then, which at the time she had gotten online, and one of the rare times that she was thanking me. She had thanked me then for it because she said she loved getting cards. Would I know if she finally got the card okay this time when I had sent the latest one that I sent to her for Christmas in 2025, or receive a thank you from her? Fuck no. When I had tried contacting her stupid bitch of a mom, her mom just saw my message to her on Facebook Messenger online at the time and didn't even respond to it. Unbelievable. Jeesh. And to think, I was starting to feel bad and apologetic at the time then to Hannah, and I'd only still wanted to be friendly, like Hannah had previously said that I was, back at the end of summer 2024, back when she was starting to talk with me and get a conversation going between us. In the case of Hannah now, I'm not entirely mad at her for choosing to block me, and I apologize to her now for sounding harsh. I just wished that when I was trying to talk with her online that she would have answered me, and then I wouldn't have had to resort to trying to stick her mom in between us, as had previously happened. Both Annie and Mimi, also from camp, tend to answer me eventually after a while. I appreciate that from the both of them. Why can't Hannah be like them, too? One day I hope that Hannah and I can become friends again and that she can finally unblock me from social media. It should never have come to that. Bottom line, I still like her and her baby brothers, and I wish them all nothing but the best. I'm sorry. The lesson I want to learn here from this video is that I should learn to not to expect too much from women that I like. If they truly like me, then they should and will eventually come around and thus want to be with me. My hope for the future is that one day, hopefully, a girl would finally want me and feel the same way that I feel about her, and who isn't already taken by someone else. If one can dream. Meanwhile, at least I still have my loving pet dog named Emma around with me right now instead. She still needs me. I love you forever, Emma. And that's all I have to say about that. So until next time, Havenites, take care. Bye. H names rock. Like, subscribe, and come back for more.